Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see about what is dividend policy, what is dividend decision, and what are the different types of dividend policy available. There is three types of dividend policy available. We are going to discuss in this video. Yes, what is dividend policy? A dividend policy is the policy a company uses to structure its dividends payouts to the shareholder. Dividend policy is like HR policy, like you have known about all the policies. So there is dividend policy also there. So the dividend policy is an agreement or a paper which speaks about the dividend to their shareholders. Dividend policy, if the companies is regularly every year, if they are giving if they are ready to give that particular dividend, they will be they can form a policy for dividend. If the board of directors is like to share the profit or earnings every year to their shareholders, then what they will do is they will frame the dividend policy. Every year they can distribute the profit or net profit to their shareholders. That is called as dividend policy. Dividend policy is definitely every year you will be receiving your certain point based on the profit, net profit or earning. Dividend decision. Dividend decision is one of the crucial decision made by the finance manager relating to the payouts to the shareholder. The payout is proportional of earnings per share given to the shareholder in form of dividend. So dividend decision is not like a dividend policy. Dividend decision will be taken by the same board of directors, but it's not in regular manner. Sometimes they will be reinvesting in the same business. Sometimes they will be investing in some other investment option. Sometimes they will be giving dividend to their shareholders. Not every year they will profit to their shareholders. So dividend decision is based on the each meeting, the decision will be varied. So dividend decision is based on the board of directors meeting. It will vary every year, but based on that the decision will be given. Next is types of dividend policy decision. Dividend policy decision. First one is stable dividend policy. Stable dividend policy is dividend policy. It will be stable. Every year they will be giving the dividend. Such thing we will be calling as a stable dividend policy. A stable dividend policy is the easiest and most commonly used. The goal of the policy is steady and predictable dividend payout each year, which what most investors seeks. Whether earnings up or down, the investor will receive the dividend. The goal is align the dividend policy with long-term growth of the company rather than quarter earning volatile. This approach gives the shareholder more certainly concern about the amount and timing of the dividend. If you are an investor, definitely everyone is looking forward for the dividend, right? So the dividend amount every year, if I am going to receive a dividend amount, whether that particular year profit may be high or low, up or down or anything, every year you will be receiving dividend by state at a stable, a certain minimum amount you will be receiving. That is called as stable dividend policy. Next is type of dividend policy decision. The next is constant dividend policy. The primary drawback of this stable dividend policy is the investor may not see the dividend increase in boom years. But under this constant dividend policy, a company pays a percentage of its earnings as dividend every year. In this way, investor experience the full volatility of a company earning. If earnings are up, investor gets larger dividend. If earnings are down, investor may receive a small dividend or not receive dividend. A primary drawback of this method is volatile of your earnings and dividend. It's difficult to plan financially, and the dividend income is high. So what is the drawback of a stable dividend policy is every year, whether it's get profit or not, we have to give every year, we want to give dividend to their shareholder. But in this constant dividend policy, every year you have to give based on the earnings or net profit. If earnings is high, the dividend will be also high. If earning is less, dividend also will be less. But definitely you will be receiving dividend every year. At certain point or 1 or 2 years, if the profit is not there, the dividend won't be given. But kind of minimum amount of uh, in the stable dividend policy, a minimum amount of dividend given. Here, based on the net profit, it will be given. Constant dividend policy, in the constant dividend policy. Next type is a type of dividend policy decision. The next type is residual dividend policy. Residual dividend policy is also highly volatile because some investors sees it as only acceptable dividend policy, which is residual dividend policy. The company payout, whether what dividend remains after the company has paid out to the capital expenditure. This approach is a volatile. But in terms of business operation, investors do want to invest in and justify the increased debt with the need of pay dividends. So here in this residual dividend policy, what they are trying to tell us, once the net profit or earnings received, if any capital expenditure, if any amount, once again, if you want to reinvest or materialistic things has to be buy, you can buy. Other than that, if the amount is there, you can distribute to their shareholder. Such policy is called as residual dividend policy. So in this video, we have seen about what is dividend policy and dividend decision. In dividend decision, we have seen three types: stable dividend policy, constant dividend policy, and residual dividend policy. Fine. So yes, thank you all.